Have you ever stood in a room full of people and still felt like the loneliest person there? Watching others laugh, connect, and flow through conversations like it was the most natural thing in the world, while you stood quietly in a corner, wishing more than anything that you could be part of it too. But something inside you held you back, a quiet, paralyzing fear, the fear of being judged, misunderstood, or worst of all, rejected. This is not just your story, it was mine too. And maybe, just maybe, what I'm about to share with you can be the turning point in yours. My name is Caleb, and for most of my life I was shy, painfully shy. I wasn't born confident. I wasn't the person who lit up the room. In fact, I used to avoid eye contact. I'd skip social events. I'd walk down hallways pretending to text just to avoid having to speak. And every time I tried to break free, that voice in my head would whisper, "You're not good enough. They won't like you, why bother?" But deep down, I wanted more. I wanted connection, friendship, love. I didn't want to just exist. I wanted to live, really live, so I started searching. I watched endless videos online, how to be charismatic, how to overcome shyness, how to make friends. Everyone kept saying the same thing: just be yourself. Don't care what others think. Just smile more. But when you're stuck inside your own head, smiling feels like lifting weights. And being yourself, that's the scariest part when you don't even know who you are yet. It felt like no one truly understood. Until one night, scrolling through videos in frustration, I stumbled upon something different. A man named Jasper Cole was talking not just about surface-level tips, but about the deep, raw truth of human connection. He wasn't pretending that confidence was easy. He acknowledged the darkness, the self-doubt, the anxiety, the fear. And for the first time, I felt seen. He said something that stuck with me. Real confidence isn't the absence of fear, it's choosing to act in spite of it. And that hit me. So I made a decision that changed everything. I asked myself a question I had never truly faced. What kind of person do I want to be in this lifetime? Do I want to be someone who lets fear dictate every move I make? Or someone who feels the fear and steps forward anyway? I knew what I had to do. It was simple, but not easy. I had to face the one thing that scared me the most. The next morning, I woke up with a challenge in my heart. I wasn't going to come home until I approached a stranger and started a genuine conversation. It didn't matter what the outcome was. What mattered was that I did it, that I showed up for myself. But when I stepped outside, fear hit me like a wave. My brain, desperate to protect me, threw every excuse it could find. It's too cold, maybe later. She's probably busy. You're not ready. I walked around for hours, my heart racing every time I saw someone I could talk to. I was terrified, but I kept walking, because this time I wasn't running away. Hours passed, the sun began to set, and then I saw her. A girl around my age walking alone, dark hair, soft steps, something about her felt safe. My whole body tensed up. I froze. Every fear screamed at me to turn back. But then that question echoed again in my mind. What kind of person do you want to be? So I took a step, then another. My body felt like it was fighting against itself. But as I got closer, something miraculous happened. I began to feel lighter. It was like my brain realized I wasn't going to back down this time. That I had chosen growth over safety. I tapped her shoulder. She turned, and I simply said, "Hi, I saw you walking and just wanted to say hello." That's it. We talked for a few minutes. Nothing magical, no love story. Just two human beings connecting in a real way. And when it ended, we exchanged numbers and said goodbye. But something inside me had shifted forever. I walked home in silence, not quite believing what had just happened. And when I caught my reflection in the mirror, I saw someone I hadn't seen in years. I saw me, not the scared version, not the anxious overthinker. I saw someone who had faced his demons and stepped through the fire. It wasn't about getting a number or impressing anyone. It was about proving to myself that I could choose courage. And that moment was the beginning of everything. My journey didn't end there. Shyness didn't disappear overnight. But that was the first crack in the wall I had built around myself for so long. I realized then that confidence isn't something you're born with. It's something you build one small act of courage at a time. Jasper's teachings weren't just advice. They were a roadmap, a call to live more boldly, more deeply. And he taught me this: if you want to have an extraordinary life, you have to do extraordinary things. Extraordinary doesn't mean climbing Everest or giving a TED talk. Sometimes it just means starting a conversation, smiling at someone, saying hi, showing up when everything in you wants to hide. Every one of us has a shadow inside, a closet filled with fears, doubts, and insecurities. Most of us avoid it. We keep the door shut. We pretend it's not there. But healing begins the moment we open that door. The moment we walk in, look those fears in the eye and say, "You don't control me anymore." So here's what I want you to know: you are not broken. You are not too quiet, too weird, too anything. You are simply someone who feels deeply, who sees the world with thoughtfulness, who has learned to survive by staying small, but now wants to live by standing tall. The road to confidence isn't paved with perfection, it's paved with courage. With every shaky conversation, every trembling voice, every moment you choose to show up anyway. And if you're waiting for the fear to disappear before you act, let me save you some time. It won't. But you can act anyway. That's how transformation begins. Not in 60 seconds, but in a single decision. So, if you're listening to this and you recognize yourself in my story, I want to ask you the same question that changed my life. What kind of person do you want to be in this lifetime? Close your eyes. Picture that version of you. The one who's not afraid to speak, to laugh, to connect. The one who walks into a room and feels like they belong, not because they're perfect, but because they've finally accepted that they're enough. Now open your eyes and take the first step. Your life is waiting.